it's nice that everyone could come back and do this today or this evening. I just like to say, with the translation, I think it might be more effective if people just, if instead of trying to read English, just listen. Because if I'm leading a meditation, so I won't be talking fast, and I'll talk as loud as I am now, so that should be enough. And and so you can just listen to the translators as they translate me, rather than trying to, unless you're reading, if English is your language, then that's fine. But I think maybe the best thing to do is just listen to the translator, and then you'll have more of a meditation experience than reading. And even that could be true for English-speaking people as well. It's not that difficult of a sadhana. And so I think we'll just get started. Yeah. So what would be nice if we had a picture of green Tara. I think I brought one. Just sit on the screen. I can't see. Whoops, upside down. So there that would be a nice thing to have on the screen if you have, Lars, I know you have one in your room. But so this is, many of you who've been to retreats with Kyabje Sopa Rinpoche, this is his favorite image of Tara that he gives away at all of his classes. And I suppose it would be good to say Tara. She was actually a human being who, there's different legends, but one of them is that he was a human being who vowed to attain enlightenment as a female. So life after life, she took birth as a female. And her kind of function, because her color is green too, is to, it's like the action dakini. She's the one who, when we need to get things done, that we call on Tara. Like I know people who, everything has to be done with our bodhicitta motivation, of course, to attain enlightenment for all sentient beings. And Tara, of course, is that's her job. But what she also does is she helps provide the material necessities that we need on the path to enlightenment when we have a pure motivation. So I know in my life, when I have wanted to do long retreats and didn't have any money, I would do a lot of Tara pujas and be able to find the means to do them. And we're often encouraged to do Tara pujas to raise money for the centers, or if we need, right now, like His Holiness has recommended this, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has recommended this practice for the pandemic to help stop the pandemic and get the vaccinations out and just heal the situation in the world. So we're calling on Tara for that, and she's a great protector from fears and protector from our delusions. And so I know that if I'm ever, and I know other people too, in a fearful situation, a dangerous situation, then we recite Tara mantras, and she's just a savior and a protector and a mother and a provider, and she's the mother of all the Buddhas and one of the most favorite practices in Tibet. And I think, some people relate her in the Western world to Mother Mary, that it's a similar energy, just a different form because it's Asian, from Asia. So a lot of people really enjoy doing Tara practice. So let's just get started, and we'll just, this particular sadhana is one that was written by Lama Yeshe and Lama Thubten Yeshe a long time ago. And maybe some of you know Paloma, Venerable Paloma, the Spanish, really amazing Spanish Dharma practitioner who lives in Valencia, and she translates a lot and teaches a lot, and she's ordained, and she's just wonderful. Anyway, I did this retreat back in April with Spanish-speaking people, and this was their sadhana, and she had it, I think she put it together, and she added, or I don't know if she added, but it had this prayer, this excerpt from Shanti Deva's dedication. And I think it's really nice to start with it to help it make our motivation. So we'll just start. And I encourage you all to relax. I don't mind if you sit in a chair or prop yourself up on cushions on a couch, a sofa, or of course, we're taught to sit up straight with our legs crossed. But if that doesn't work for you, I don't really mind, as long as you don't fall asleep. So let's just start by just doing some little bit of breathing meditation. You can imagine or feel our Father on our right and our Mother on our left, and our friends and family behind us, people who irritate us in front of us, or people who harmed us, or we have sort of difficult relations with, we put in front of us. And we can also think about everyone who's on this Zoom with us, and imagine that we're all in a beautiful mountain, alpine Gompa in Switzerland, summer, and that we're all sitting together. And any of you to Osaling, there's a big giant statue of Green Tara. I encourage you to look at it online. Like imagine that we're all sitting around this giant, it's not a statue, it's a real Tara. And she's in the space above us. And she's looking at us like a mother looks at her infant, just this completely accepting, loving smile. And we can feel her warmth and how we all are connected through our blessings of Tara and our wish to help all sentient beings to have better lives and be free of illness and emotional afflictions and all the tragedies that happen to people and animals and all beings. And we take a moment to feel gratitude, thinking of the wonderful things that are in our lives that make us feel grateful. Even just the fact that we wake up and we're alive, and the sun is shining, and we still have a roof over our head, and just thinking of the good things in life that we can rejoice about. And we can locate that sense of gratitude and happiness in our heart, in the center of our chest, like a little smile. You know, Thich Nhat Hanh talks about the inner smile, letting that little inner smile light up as we connect energetically with Tara. And as we're sitting here breathing, we can breathe in all of her blessings. And as we breathe out, we share it with everyone in the Zoom, and our family, and our friends, and all sentient beings. Making our breathing very meaningful and soothing. Just being with it. We can think to ourselves, I must attain the state of enlightenment for all beings. And for this purpose, I'll enter the practice of Aryata. So that we can spread the wisdom, compassion, skillful means of Tara throughout the universe. So then we begin by reading Shantideva's prayer. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain an ocean of happiness and joy by virtue of my merits. May no living creature suffer, commit evil, or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the blind see forms, the deaf hear sounds, and those whose bodies are worn with toil be restored upon finding repose. May the naked find clothing. May the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth. Those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness and prosperity. May there be timely rains, bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be freed from their ailments. Whatever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, and for as long as sentient beings remain, until then, may I too remain to distill the miseries of the world. And then here's the picture of Tara again. Just hide behind her. So we can take refuge and generate bodhicitta. So we'll say this together 3 times. I and all sentient beings, as vast as space, from now until reaching the essence of supreme enlightenment, go for refuge to the glorious pure lamas. Go for refuge to the perfectly enlightened victorious ones. Go for refuge to the pure Dharma, and go for refuge to Arya Sangha. I and all sentient beings, vast as space, from now until reaching the essence of supreme enlightenment, go for refuge to the glorious pure lamas. Go for refuge to the perfectly enlightened victorious ones. Go for refuge to the pure Dharma. Go for refuge to the Arya Sangha. I and all sentient beings, as vast as space, from now until reaching the essence of supreme enlightenment, go for refuge to the glorious pure lamas. Go for refuge to the perfectly enlightened victorious ones. Go for refuge to the pure Dharma, and go for refuge to the Arya Sangha. And then we feel that connection. We talked about refuge yesterday for those of you who are here, that we understand that the way to solve our problems is through creating the cause to create a better life. And so we learn that from the Guru, from the Buddha, from the teachings of Buddha, the Dharma, and with the help of our friends, the Sangha. And so going for refuge is committing ourselves to learning the techniques, to finding happiness from within, becoming emotionally more authentic and full, and and even more independent, so that we're freely loving but not needy, that are content with Dharma practice, so that we're free to express ourselves in kind and loving ways and learn how to heal those repressed patterns that cause afflictive emotions and conflict. And through taking refuge, we learn to liberate our inner wisdom and compassion and free ourselves from the afflictive emotions and karmic patterns that trigger us into behaving in ways that we prefer not to, and give us the freedom to choose our behaviors and to choose our thoughts and to destructive, negative thinking, and create a positive inner world. And this is the benefit of taking refuge and generating bodhicitta. So then we go to the we think, especially in order to benefit all my mother sentient beings, quickly and more quickly, I must achieve the precious state of perfect and complete Buddhahood. Therefore, I'm going to undertake the yoga of the Venerable Aryatara. And again, we just stop and feel really grateful and gratitude for this opportunity and the fact that we have the great karma to meet Tara and teachers as great as His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Soka Rinpoche, and the great young Tulkus and around. So we can feel that refuge, we can feel that potential for change. And if we're a more advanced practitioner, then we take refuge in our own Buddha nature, our own purity awareness, because there we are free of these patterns and afflictive emotions. We just take a moment to rest in our own basic goodness. We all have the capacity to do that. And then you can think by sharing this incredible, good, fortunate secret of the mind becoming an inner being. You can think in all sentient beings be free of suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings never be separated from the happiness that knows no suffering. And may all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free of attachment and hatred for those we hold close and others distant. We love every sentient being equally. And then blend this with our mind stream so that we feel it and not just think it. Have some conviction about it. And then we renew our imagination of Tara in the space above us. So we imagined Tara, emerald green. She's sitting on a lotus and a moon disk. She is a manifestation of the omniscience, love, and compassion of all the Buddhas. She is in the nature of light, like a rainbow. Her left leg gathered in. Her left leg gathered in symbolizes her complete control over her winds, her emotions, bodily functions, and her extended right leg shows that she's ready, always ready to get up to help sentient beings. Her left hand on her heart is in the refuge mudra because she's giving refuge to everyone all the time, see? And so her palm facing out and the thumb and ring finger touching and the other three fingers raised. And her right hand is on her knee, showing this the mudra of bestowing sublime accomplishments. The palm out, the thumb and ring, the thumb and index touching, and the rest of the fingers point down. So you can see the picture. The fingers. Yeah, you can see her fingers. You can give her any face you want, whatever you consider something makes you feel elated and special, and knowing that if we take this as our deity, this is how we will manifest as an enlightened being. We can all become like Tara in our own individual way. In each hand, she holds the stem of the blue Paula flower. And then, as the tradition goes, we recite the 7-limb prayer. I prostrate reverently with my body, speech, and mind. I present clouds of every type of offering, both actually arranged and mentally emanated. I confess all my negativities and downfalls collected since beginningless time, and I rejoice in the virtues of ordinary beings and Aryas. You can stop and rejoice for a moment, just thinking about all the people, beings who attained enlightenment through practicing Tara. and all the beings today who practice Tara in a really profound, clear, concentrated way, infused with great bodhicitta, rejoicing in all the virtues of all the Buddhas, all the yogis and yoginis, and all the sentient beings. Thinking of all the nurses and doctors who worked in the hospitals, and people helping the poor and the homeless, and people in governments, and people in everywhere, rejoicing how wonderful it is. If we go back to the confession part, we can take a moment to just think about the aspects of our being that we would like to change, to purify, whether it's a physical thing or a habit that we have it's difficult to change. And just make a note that that we're doing that while we do this practice as well, creating the cause to make the changes that we need to be better people. And requesting Tara to grant her blessings for us to be able to do that, and to bring us the conditions that we need, the helpers that we need. Then we ask Tara to please remain until the end of cyclic existence and continue to teach the Dharma for transmigratory beings. And then we dedicate our own and others' virtues to the great enlightenment. And then we can imagine the whole universe. We offer the whole universe to Tara. The Tibetan tradition or the Indian tradition is actually offering Mount Meru in the 4 continents, because 2,500 years ago, or even 1,000 years ago, or 500 years ago, the Indian people thought that was the universe. We're modern people. We can just imagine the whole universe and everything in it we offer to Tara. Sometimes I like to think of everything in every single shop. Imagine all the stuff that's in the world, all those malls filled with cars and clothes and dishwashers and washing machines and all the things that people want, just offer all that up to Tara as well. Mm-hmm. All the books and music and money, and houses and land and medicine, everything in the universe. Now I'll just read in English the translation. The ground anointed with perfume, strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine as a Buddha field. So we imagine all the universe as a Buddha field and offer it to Tara. May all transmigratory beings enjoy this pure land. Idam Guru Ratna Mandalakam Niryatana. And then we pray, we prostrate to her. Devas, and that's like gods and demigods, bow down with their crowns to your lotus feet. I prostrate to the liberating mother who liberates from all misfortune. Now another more, we don't use it in advance, but more other practices. We will recite the 21 praises to Tara here. It's a really popular practice that uses it, just as I said, to create the cause for protection and enlightenment and material wealth and everything we need for enlightenment. But we won't do that today because there are a lot of new people here, and we can do it some other time. And so then we just make a big request to Tara. Venerable Tara, great treasure of compassion, grant your blessing to increase all favorable conditions to clear away every obstacle that all migratory beings may swiftly enter the city of eternal joy. So then you can make your own personal requests. You can make a big joint request for creating the political and material will to stop the earth from heating up, finding more electric cars and all the things that we need for that. But more specifically, the corporate and political will. I think we have the technology. And I like to request for the rich people to begin to share the wealth with poor people and not be afraid of being taxed, to help people all over the world, and obviously for the pandemic. And for all the people in Afghanistan, Syria, and Iraq, and wherever there's just so much in the world now. The people in Africa and South America that are trying to immigrate to the north, and all the families that have issues and relationship issues, and the lonely people, and mentally ill people, and physically ill people, all the animals about to be slaughtered, and all the beings and all around. You just think about all of these things and just ask Tara to please create the cause that we can be an instrument of change on whatever level, however we operate, if it's just through prayer or through action or through giving, however we can. Just sending that message out into the human mental field of interconnectedness. It's a lot of positive energy. And in particular, requesting for more enlightened beings to manifest on our planet, and for more of us to attain enlightenment very quickly, so that we can manifest as enlightened beings with all the people, so we can help them. So then, your own prayers. You can request to realize all the stages of the path, from Guru devotion up to the unified state of Vajradhara, realizing great compassion, understanding the two truths, practicing generation and completion stage practices, dying with a good mind, training to die with the recollection of the clear light at the time of death. You make these requests. You can also request to be free from all the wrong views, and gain all the realizations of the path, and be free from all the obstacles to attaining enlightenment. Tara is very good at clearing obstacles. So we have obstacles in our lives, just think about those and just imagine that when we get to the mantra recitation and receive the blessing, those obstacles are being completely avoided. And Tara receives our requests, and we imagine her smiling. And so then we receive the blessing. So we imagine from the brow chakra of Tara, white nectars and rays pour into the crown of our head and fill up our whole body with white light. So imagine our body's hollow, and can be filled with light. And this brings the realization of bliss and emptiness, purifying all the obstacles we have with our bodies in the gross physical world. Every single cell in your body is vibrating with the purification energy of this white light. If we have an illness, we can bring that light particularly to that organ or place, or heartbreak, or soothing our emotional afflictions. Actually, that comes next. And when our whole body is filled with this white light, then it radiates out through our pores and touches the beings we're imagining around us, first with our parents, doesn't matter if they're alive or not, and their families and friends, and then out to all sentient beings. So the whole experience is pervaded with this brilliant, blissful light that allows us to let go of our grasping mind. So if we can meditate on the nature of mind, we just relax into that calm, clear space and radiate that white light. And then we think that the blessings of, we've received the blessings of Tara's holy body, and my body becomes oneness with Tara's body. And we stabilize meditation on that. And then the red, she has a red awe at her throat. And from that red awe, red light rays and nectars. It's a bit like fog, you have foggy. Swami Rinpoche said it's like if you're driving at night and you have headlights on, it's really foggy and you can see the little droplets of water, but you also see the light. So it's like that. And the droplets are the bliss and the light is the emptiness. And it pours into our throat, filling the body this time with red light. And it purifies our subtle mind, those the winds, and all of our speech, all of our unskillful speech, all the kind of things we've said we regret, or our tendencies to exaggerate or lie, or harsh speech, or lots of complaining speech. Any speech that sort of is a downer, it's critical, or doesn't mean we can't have critical thinking. It's just the tone of voice that we use, and creating a very gentle, loving speech. So we meditate on that again, just filling the body with this light and bliss. Meditating on best we can on pure awareness, Buddha nature. Relaxing into that blessing and allowing that to go out and touch us again. And we have confidence that we've received the blessings of Tara's speech, and that our speech becomes oneness with Tara's holy speech. Just have faith. And then from the blue moon in her heart, and Tara's heart is a blue moon. Blue nectars and rays come into our heart and fill my body and mind with this purifying bliss and emptiness, purifying all mundane concepts, all wrong views, all wrong attitudes, all misperceptions, all the stories we tell ourselves that keep us locked in our self-pity and self-hatred and lack of self-esteem and think we can't do things, or that prevent us from being exuberantly happy. Sharing that with all the sentient beings, blue light everywhere. Just emptiness pervaded by blue light. And then we receive the blessings of Aritara's holy mind, and my mind becomes one with Aritara's holy mind. I realize the union of this emptiness, union of clear light, illusory body. And then from all three places, nectars of white, red, and blue stream forth into my three places, filling my body and mind and winds and purifying all the subtle stains of grasping and inherent existence. Final purification so that we can realize the clear light. Mind. We share that with all the sentient beings. And my very subtle mind becomes oneness with Aritara's subtle mind. And I receive the total enlightened experience of being Aritara. And again, we kind of make this request, asking Tara to bless us even further by coming and blending Tara's holy mind with my mind. And we can imagine in our hearts is a seed syllable. It's a representation of our very subtle mind. So if we don't have to see the syllable today. If you don't know what a tum looks like, it looks a bit like a 5. But just make a connection with inside your heart. Imagine the heart chakra, and inside that is a very subtle drop, about the size of a mustard seed. And Tara, seeing how sincere we are, understanding how sincere we are, and out of her great compassion, this body we've been imagining in front of us, a replica of Tara will come to the crown of our head and dissolve into my heart. I'm very, very, very small, into the crown of my head and sit in my heart. And if there's some people who've had a Tara initiation, then and they know how to arise as the deity, then they can do that. Otherwise, we just Tara stays in space in front of us, but we feel that blessing of an emanation of her mind coming and sitting in the subtle mind, waking up my own subtle mind, my own Buddha nature. So here, whatever teachings we've had or meditations we've had on the nature of mind, meditate on that. If you like, you can do a meditation on looking for the I. Where's the I? If I truly exist the way it appears, then I must be able to find it upon investigation. So first we bring up this sense of I, me, here I am, I'm me, I sitting, meditating. There's definitely somebody here, the I self here. It appears to be truly existent, I. But if it were to exist the way it appears, we could be able to point to it upon investigation. This is the very simple analysis where we investigate. Is my I in my body? Can I find my I in my body? Feels kind of like it's in the chest, doesn't it? Some people find their I in their heads. Their sense of me. But if we think about it with logic, if the I was somewhere in my body, or if the I was my body, then I would, because it would be the body, it would be the, the body's body, not my body. The sense of my, me, and my, right? My. Is it in the mind? Well, then it's also the same situation. It's my mind. It doesn't feel like, it's not the mind's mind. It's my mind. So where is this my? Feels separate, doesn't it? My mind. I'm not my body. I'm not my mind. I'm me. I'm the one that's looking at it all. So that means then that it has to be separate from the mind and the body. Well, how's that? Can the mind and body be sitting on this bed and my eyes on the other side of the room looking at it? Doesn't work either. Where is this I? Where is me? We can't find the I, we just rest in that kind of spacious quality, still aware. for a moment flash, we can suspend the sense of me and I and just feel our awareness. Knowing. Someone asked yesterday about knowing. It's just a knowingness. But it's not knowing anything at this point. It's just the potential to know. And even that, if you turn awareness on itself, you can't find that either. And the more we can do that meditation, the less grasping comes. We begin to feel the experience of me and mine as a concept merely labeled on the experience and experiencer. We have a mind that experiences moment to moment. And because it experiences moment to moment, there's a stream of consciousness, and on that stream of consciousness seems to be a truly existent I. In actual fact, it's just moment to moment awareness. And when we begin to experience that, that's the liberator. That's what gives us the flexibility to respond, to let go, to be happy. Thoughts are just thoughts. Stories are just stories. The eye appears like reflection in a mirror. So Tara manifests out of that experience. And for those of us that have an empowerment, that bliss becomes the body of Tara, the emanation, the vision of Tara, and the cognizing emptiness is the divine pride. This is me, I'm Tara. But for those of us who haven't had the empowerment, we continue to imagine Tara in the space in front of us. She is giving us, she empowers us. We do it ourselves, but she kind of gives us the grace to have that experience by taking refuge in Tara. And so in Tantra, the deity has activities. I think the four purities are the purity of the body, the place, the activities, and the enjoyments. So the body is obviously the body of Tara, the places. We imagine we're also in Tara's pure land. And the activities is everything that we do to benefit sentient beings in the form of Tara, and of course everything that we experience. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Soho. Om Tare Tu Tare Tu Soho. And this mantras have a lot of power. They resonate in our nervous system. And so when you do retreats, you spend a lot of time reciting mantra because they bless your body, they bless your speech, mantra blesses your mind. And so we'll do a little bit of Tara mantra. And as we recite the mantra, we can imagine from in Tara's heart is this syllable Tam surrounded by the mantra. And this radiates out light as we say the mantra that touches all sentient beings. And they all become Tara. So as we recite the mantra, we can imagine that either from our heart or from the heart of Tara, these lights, rainbow lights are going out. And we can first touch everybody we know and using them with the blessing of Tara. And if you like, and then they come back and all the lands become a pure land. So that means purifying the pandemic and the global warming and the wars and all that's being purified. And then all that blessing and light comes back into the syllable Tam. And I like to do that with my breath. So as the light is, so as I breathe out, all the lights are going out, I breathe in, it comes back into me. But you don't have to do it that way. You can do it however you want. And so we'll recite the mantra for a little while. And if you're tired, you can just take a break now and just kind of look around a little bit while we recite the mantra. And you don't have to be so serious about this. It's good to be very playful with our tantric practice. So we don't have much to go. We're just going to recite the mantra for a few minutes and then we'll dedicate. So I hope you've been able to stay with me. Okay, here we go. Om Jare Tu Re Soha. 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 And we can just recite it to ourselves for a little while. It helps with the concentration. Untitled. Untitled. Dare do re so. Dare do re so. And you can imagine light rays go out, making offerings to all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas. Receive their blessings. And again, the light rays go out, touching all sentient beings, and they all become, imagine every being in the universe becomes green Tara, enlightened beings. It can be tiny, like atoms, or giant as mountains, and they're all made of light. And then all this energy, green activity, powerful action comes in. Healing power pours into us, completely energizing again ourselves, our spirits, our subtle energy, our subtle mind, with the enlightened activity of our Aitar, bringing us all the qualities of an enlightened being. Just imagine a shower of goodness and blessings and wonder, realizations, power. And then once again, we meditate on emptiness. And if you imagine Tara in the space in front of you, you can dissolve her. She dissolves into green light and comes to the crown of your head, and then comes and stays in your heart and blessing you throughout the day, throughout the life, being with you and wake up in the morning, and you can sleep with your head in her lap, and she's just always there, constantly guiding you, protecting you, loving you, accepting you, giving you space and peace and rest and wisdom and love and healing power. It's always there. And then, of course, we have to dedicate whatever positive energy we created. We dedicate it to leading all sentient beings into enlightenment. There's a prayer here. With the merits of these virtuous actions, may quickly attain the state of Aryatara and lead all living beings without exception to that state. May the supreme jewel bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more and more. Let me just end again by thinking of the things that we were praying for and imagining that they are realized. Then we always pray for the long lives of our gurus. So you can do them in your own language. Of course, in the land encircled by snow mountains, Rishi Rinpoche changes to the whole universe and all the world. You are the source of all happiness and good. All powerful Chinrezi Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Namam Zopa Rinpoche, you who uphold as a doer's moral way, who serve as the bountiful bearer of all, sustaining, preserving, and spreading Manjunath's victorious doctrine, who masterfully accomplished magnificent prayers honoring the three jewels. Savior of myself and others, your disciples, please lead them. So that's it. That's our Tara Siddhana, our practice. You can do it much shorter if you like. You can just take refuge, generate bodhicitta, visualize Tara, make an offering, make a request, feel the blessings, and then recite the mantra and dedicate. So you can do it in 10 minutes, you can do it in 15 minutes. You can recite the mantra wherever you are, driving, wherever, anywhere. So that's a good taste of Tara practice. And most tantric practices are the same. You just change the deity. It's a bit like ice cream is the same. We just have chocolate and vanilla and strawberry and different flavors. But the general procedure is the same. So I think that's it for today. Thank you, Lars and everybody. And unless anybody wants something to say, I guess we're finished. I hope it was loud enough. And so thanks for coming, and I hope you had some good experience. Yeah. I see some smiling faces, friends out there. Okay, well, I'm going to sign off, and we'll see you all next Wednesday, right, Lars? Yeah, next Wednesday. So take care, and if you have any questions, we'll work with them next week. So, I really request that you keep Tara in your heart, and
thank you.
The more you practice, the louder you get to her. So, okay, everybody.
Thank you very much, Paula.
Thank you very much.
Paula. Thank you, Lars. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Looking
Paula.
forward to next Wednesday with you.
Gracias.
Thank you, Paula.
See you next
Thank
Wednesday.
you,
Bye, everyone.
Paula and Lars. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.